four lifelong friends venture into the wilderness to reconnect after years apart. What was meant to be a healing trip turns into a nightmare when a family of bears visits their campsite. It took me a long time to write this. Every time I thought about that night, my palms would sweat and my breath would hitch, as if I were lying on the cold ground again, with a hidden fear that the next breath might be my last. When you know someone for more than a decade, their voices become a built-in part of your memory. Even if life has scattered you to different cities, when you get together, it all comes back. Jokes, habits, grudges, and affections, as if you were teenagers again with a whole summer ahead of you. Zach, Trevor, Nick, and I met in high school in suburban Denver. We weren't exactly inseparable, but life stubbornly pitted us against each other. Football, parties, first crushes, and broken hearts, and then colleges in different states, adulthood, work. But once a year, in August, we always got together. This trip was special. We hadn't seen each other for almost 2 years. Trevor came back from Afghanistan, where he served in the infantry. Came back different, quieter, sterner. Something in his eyes that we didn't understand. Zach had recently gone through a divorce. His wife had left him for a Pilates instructor, taking the dog and half the furniture with her. And Nick had cancer, leukemia, almost a year in hospitals. He had lost weight to an alarming degree, but he had fought and he had won. I was the only one of us for whom everything was going according to plan. A job in IT, a decent apartment, no drama. Maybe that's why I was the one who suggested, what if the forest, old-fashioned, with tents, no phones, just us and nature? Everyone liked the idea. We chose a place in a national park that Trevor and I had once accidentally found in our senior year, an abandoned trail leading to a river, far from everything. A real wild corner. We called this place The Point. In the morning, we stocked up on everything we needed: food, tents, sleeping bags, a little beer. We took a guitar and an old speaker. We downloaded music with nostalgia, a playlist like in 2012. The road was like a return to youth. We teased each other, sang, discussed how strange and unfair adult life is. The laughter was real, pure, to tears. We arrived closer to evening, while the sun was still gilding the treetops. We pitched tents, made a fire. Zach was grilling sausages. Nick and Trevor were arguing about movies. I just looked at them and felt how warm it became inside. You know, I said, I'm glad we did it. We need more moments like this. Yeah, Trevor said, throwing a branch on the fire, because we never know when they will end. This phrase will sound in my head for a long time. Night fell quickly. The forest around seemed to freeze, leaving only the crackling of the fire and the buzz of mosquitoes. We sat by the fire, drank beer, shared stories. Nick suddenly said, "By the way, this is the first night in 2 years when I am not afraid of not waking up." Everyone fell silent. Then Trevor clapped him on the shoulder. "Then we definitely need to live, brother, to the fullest." We laughed, chatted, and didn't know that nature was listening to us. That in the darkness, among the trees, something wild was already stirring. That this would be our last night in a naive world where bears exist only in zoos and fairy tales. It was supposed to be an ordinary adventure. Just 3 friends, tents, beer, and the silence of a national park in Colorado. We really were the only ones within a few miles. We lit a fire, pitched tents, and in the late afternoon relaxed by the fire with cans of cheap beer and conversations about the past. Around midnight, when the fire was almost burnt out, we went to our tents. I even thought how nice it was to not hear the hum of cars or the vibration of a phone. Nature, it seemed, was at our disposal. I woke up from some rustling. At first, I thought Trevor had gone out to pee, but then I heard a low snort and the sound of someone rummaging around in our food bag. My heart sank. I slowly unzipped the tent and peered outside, and I almost screamed. A couple of meters away from me stood a huge brown bear. Our package of bars was dangling from its mouth, but it was only one of them. A little further on, I noticed a second, smaller one, and a cub, a family. They had come for the smell of food, and judging by their behavior, they weren't going to leave quickly. I very quietly zipped the tent back up and froze. I had to act fast. I picked up my phone and texted Nick, "Get up, but be quiet. Look out of the tent." Someone moved in the neighboring tent. A message had arrived. "Shh," was all I managed to whisper, but it was too late. One of the bears growled, and I heard Nick start to crawl out of the tent in a panic, a scream, a noise, a bang. The tent collapsed. Someone, I think it was Zach, screamed, and then everything went to hell. I heard the fabric tearing, the bear roaring, someone yelling, "Don't move!" It was all like a nightmare, pointless, scary, and all too real. And then something happened that saved us. Trevor, always the coolest of us, flew out of the tent, fell to the ground, and froze. Just lay down, arms outstretched, not moving. As if on cue, we all did the same. One by one, lay down, played dead. I could feel the bear passing me, his breath, hot and putrid, on my face. He pushed me with his paw. I didn't move, even though my whole body was screaming, "Run!" I felt a claw slide across my cheek until it bled, but I didn't move. I just lay there, just dead. Time passed. Every second seemed like an eternity. The bears snorted something, walked in circles, and at some point, they just left. Slowly, noisily, breaking branches, and they disappeared into the forest. We lay there for another 20 minutes, afraid to move. I heard one of the guys sobbing. My own hands and teeth were shaking so much that my head was beating out a rhythm. Only when the sky began to lighten and the bird song drowned out the echo of that night did we get up. Nick was in shock. His side was torn, but fortunately the wound was not deep. Zach was scratched and bruised. We were dirty, bloody, with damaged gear, but alive. We were lucky. We broke the main rule: don't leave food in plain sight. We were stupid city kids, thinking that the forest is just a background for Facebook photos. It was 2 years ago. I haven't left the city since then. I think this trauma will affect 2 generations to come. I have never been so afraid in my life. I still dream about fragments of that night. The guys and I continue to meet every year in August, in the bathhouse. Now it's our new tradition, and plus one incredible story to add to our collection of memories. Do you believe in fate? Do you think that we were not destined to die that night? Or were we the ones who saved our lives? Every time I hear the word bear, that roar rings in my ears. And if someone ever tells you that playing dead is stupid, don't listen. That stupidity saved my life.